Hey, it is me, unapologetically T, and I don't have my warm filter on, so you get to see the raw beats of the face. I like to put the warm filter on because I be feeling like my skin look pale. Like, I don't know, it might just be a me thing, but I be feeling a little pale looking. It's winter. I need that sun-kissed skin. But it's already sun-kissed though, I guess, in some people's eyes. But yeah. Uh, yeah. I was eating Doritos, so I was looking at my teeth. It's like I don't want the people to see the orange spots, but luckily for me, I brushed my teeth this morning. So I think we're fine. I'm just being so open this morning. But I just want to thank God for today. Today is my birthday. I had some things I had to do earlier, and just thank God for everything. Just thank God. Like, thank God I'm not where I was last year. Woo, behind the scenes, girl. I was crying all the time, angry, like super, super angry, and for good reason, like all for good reason. But I look at last year as the great detox, and it was just like detoxing my toxic behaviors. I don't give a fuck where I got them from or why I had them. I had them. So it was literally me getting out a lot of the sickness that was plaguing me. And I am grateful to be here. So I haven't really been doing videos. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, God, for that too. I guess I will be doing. We're gonna scrap that, and I'm gonna stay on what I was doing this video for. Like, I'm not gonna check no more notifications. But today's my birthday, and interestingly enough, I'm into numerology and like big on angel numbers. Literally have something in the making that dealing with angel numbers, and it's going to be a collaborative project, so I'm excited about that, but I do not foresee it happening like right at this moment. But I've been had it in the works since last year. That's one of the things, like, I just want to give like so much props to myself. Like, this video will be praised for me, and I hope that you can take me praising myself and know that you should praise yourself as well. Last year I was going through it. This year I'm going through it. Literally, I'm going through it this year, and I haven't been as open about what I'm going through, how it looks, how it feels. Only because when I first started making these videos, I did say that I wanted to keep what I was going through currently like private. If I choose to share some stuff, I choose to share it, but I wanted to typically keep my life that I was currently living private, but I was open to sharing like everything that had happened to me. So I'm in one of those phases and spouts where I'm just, getting through these stages, and when it's all said and done, I'll share it with you. But right now, I love those who are respecting my boundaries and my privacy, who are not. Before I get into the praises, let me stop and say this. I don't know who needs to hear this. I might have to make a short of this, but I don't know who need to hear this. But you are not obligated to nobody but you. And if you had kids, them kids. But you still gotta have that fine line that you come first, but not in that crazy way where you neglecting your kids. So when I say this, I just want to say this. How dare people feel entitled to you? How dare people feel entitled to you? How dare them? How dare them? How dare them? And I literally had moments of this projection. Like, I feel like things that were kind of fed to me and projected onto me, I literally acted out last year. but it was like purging what was put on me. It was purging my own behaviors that was learned and taught. It was purging behaviors gained from experiences. It was purging all that toxic shit. But how dare people feel like that they're entitled to you? Like, that is the most insane shit that I've looked back on and realized, like, the audacity. However, I am grateful for when people show their true colors and they decide to make things seem like it's about you, but then they show you very quickly that this isn't about you. This is about me. This is about me. And that entitlement will reveal itself every time. I can't count the number of times I had to cut people off last year, due to them feeling entitled to me. You're not entitled to me. Matter of fact, I don't even fucking know you. Like, I don't care if you knew me when I was born. Like, I don't care. I don't know you. Like, you're not entitled to me. Just from your response alone, because I have a boundary set or because I don't respond to you in a timely enough manner, you're not entitled to me. I mean, whatever the fuck. You're not guaranteed access over here. Like, I wanted to make that one clear because it really puzzles me how you could claim to, like, I don't know. I'm puzzled. But I just want to say that you're not obligated to nobody but you. And if you got kids, if you got a family, like far as, the husband and all that stuff, like, your obligations is you first. You and God first. Then your spouse. Because there are Christian views that'll say that spouse come first, but I'm sorry. The universe will send me a man who knows that it is God and him, then me, then them kids, and then family and friends. Like, but if you're a part of the other, how dare you? Like, how dare you? I just had to get that out. I don't know who else is going through this, but it seems to be the season of entitlement. Like, how dare I be, selfish with my own time and selfish with myself? How dare I not respond to you right away? How dare I? How dare I stare at this phone and not answer it? Yes, I saw you call it. I did not feel like talking. Do you know that I am not obligated to talk to you? I just had to get that out. Look, when you hold shit in, you have to get it out. And I'm getting it out. And my birthday still is wonderful. And it's wonderful because I've learned to, like, get that shit out. Get it off your chest. Get it up off of here. Get it up off. I'm sorry. I'm really giddy today and I love it. I'm just enjoying the wave. Okay? So the wave is great today. And we're gonna ride that bitch all the way out. Okay. So now that I have addressed that, I really am going to get into some positive things and updates about me, since I have been very, like, closed off far as the storms and all that stuff. I am going to share some of my good though. I want to be in a habit of sharing my good with others once my good has actually set in, and like, praising myself. So praising myself is a big part of practicing self-love for me. Typically I was a overachiever, and I typically did things because I thought I was supposed to, and literally would find them not challenging, and would try to make them as extremely challenging as I possibly could. Like literally, oh, you want me to go to school? Oh, I'll go to school. Oh, I don't want to go to school no more. Oh, I figured out how to do school. All right, I got this. Well, not only am I going to go to school, oh, I could save money if I just get everything out of the way right now. Oh, okay, all right, I see this system. Like, I'm gonna crack this code, and literally would just like play life on hard, like extremely challenging. But never praising myself. Like, literally, I've walked around for years. People didn't even really know I had 3 degrees. I am not one of those women who will be like, and I got 3 degrees. I have just finally started saying these 3 to fucking degrees. Like, and I don't say it with like no snootiness or I look down on you. Like, I'm just saying it like, now I really see what I had accomplished. Like, these are my accolades that I have achieved. And though I don't think I'm better than anyone, I literally made less money than people with 1 degree or no degrees. So literally, conceptually, knew from jump, like, these degrees do not value me over anyone else. These degrees are my inner accomplishments. It is my blood, sweat, and tears I put into it. So that's why I never really brought it up, because I looked at society as I hated people who like held higher education over other people as if they were better than them, when I know motherfuckers who dropped out of school who are smarter than people who has a PhD. Like, because you cannot value education all the time by higher education. Like, there are literally other ways to learn. And there's literally geniuses who have dropped out of college or never stepped foot into college, period. So, saying that, I still say I put in that motherfucking work. I did that as a single mother. I am proud of myself. I did that with a partner who struggled with substance abuse. So I did that. I did that with severe fucking effects of trauma, and even was adding on more trauma to myself as I was doing it, and I never gave up. So my degrees have less to do with about my education, because I could have learned what I learned by reading books, because I'm literally refreshing and relearning a lot of my religious study stuff right now by just reading books, reading articles, I would say, because the books, like, I'm getting there. I'm gonna get there. But like, if you give me a phone and I Google something, I read really good on looking on the phone, but like, I gotta get back into the habit of like actually sitting with a book. And I'm trying. I fell off the wagon. So, but I'm gonna get there. I don't know why I went on that tangent. But I would say this, like, it is not just about the education I receive. It's part of it. I loved learning, and I still do love learning, like, hence the teacher in me. But the teacher in me is like the love of sharing what I've learned with others. So outside of that alone, those degrees represent I never gave fucking up. I had so much going on during those years of trying to get those degrees. Had so much going on. I did not have the coping skills that I have now. And, I'm still growing and learning. But I didn't have any of those things. All I knew was suppression. Like, just suppress it. Like, if you're going through something, suppress it. You got to keep going. You got to pull yourself up by the bootstrap. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. Go cry in the car. Go cry in the car. Don't let nobody even see you cry. Don't even let nobody know what you're going through. Like, don't let it show. Like, you got this. You got this. Anytime someone come up, like, you got this. If you're in the classroom, like, I started having panic attacks because I was suppressing everything, and I didn't even realize, like, that's what was causing a lot of my panic attacks. Like, I still have anxiety. I still have panic attacks sometimes. And they show up in different ways, but literally then I didn't even know what the fuck a panic attack was. I remember sitting in class with the class full of people feeling like I was dying. Like, I could not breathe. I could not move. I was literally mentally, physically, and obviously even my involuntary functions felt like they weren't working anymore. I didn't know it was mental. I thought, like, literally they weren't working. Like, and I had to pray my way through those, like, and literally, I remember those times. And then when I could finally, like, get up and go to the bathroom, and just have a moment and cry and just keep asking, like, what is this? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm getting emotional because it's the growth. It's the growth for me. And so I say this to say that I was going through so much. So it's so much strength in those degrees. It's so much determination in those degrees. It's so much perseverance in those degrees. It's grit in those degrees. It is strategy in those degrees. It is multitasking in those degrees. I was a caregiver on so many different levels. So I had to work. I worked 2 jobs sometimes. Like, I literally had a jam-packed day. I would literally be gone from morning to like late at night. So my daughter had to have a sacrifice of her mother not being able to be there all the time because I was at school and at work. So quality time was a big thing for me. So even when I did have time that was free, I had to spend them with my daughter. I never really got to spend time with myself. And even though I wasn't a teen mom, I had her at a very young age where I kicked into motherhood early, and a lot of the fuck shit that I feel like I was supposed to do. Like, get shit out of your system. Even though I think I have mentioned this before, like, I literally did have a childhood for as teenage years was lit. Like, I partied like college students, like in in my teenage years. So when we got to college, like, literally, it was just elevated. It was like, you got to, like, now you're not just partying with the black people, you partying with the, like, white people and shit. Like, so you just seeing different ways of partying and how far shit can go. It was just opened up, and it was like a beautiful thing. However, I feel like mine was cut to a halt, and my friends kept getting to go on and do whatever the fuck they was doing in life, and mine was like, you got responsibilities now. Even though I was kind of already a responsible person, because even when I was in college and in school, I kept a job. I kept a job. Like, my mom, she didn't have to buy my clothes. If she she wanted to buy something, she could buy it, but she didn't have to buy my clothes. Like, a lot of that type of stuff was taken off of her, but she did have to pay, like, the rent and the bills for herself. But I was kind of like self-sufficient, responsible. I had a car note. I had all these things, and I took care of myself. So I did have this set of responsibility before I had a child, thank God. I was already living out on my own before I got pregnant with her. It was me and her father living together. So I had a level of responsibility, but at the same token, I would say mentality wise, like, I was still a child. Like, I was still a child. I just was a child who had been, I call it adultified. I don't know if that's a word, but I know it's adultification, but I guess I would say adultified. I was like adultified early on. Like, my mom required me to be super responsible in certain ways and aspects, and I'm thankful for that upbringing, that I did get pushed to be responsible for myself, because there's a lot of people who don't know how to, like, manage bills, like pay their rent each month. Like, they'll choose to buy shoes or clothes or food or whatever. Like, that was not an option for me. I had to take care of responsibilities first. Like, you made these bills. You wanted that new phone, you wanted to upgrade to the phone. Like, so, like, the phones was never in my name, but I paid my own phone bill. So, you want that new phone, you want that phone bill, like, okay, well, you got to pay for it. Oh, life happened. Oh, you still got to pay for this. So you're going to have to figure it out. Like, so, and then if you ain't in a situation where you can't pay for it, oh, I'll give you a loan, but you're going to pay me back. So I was made very responsible, and I'm grateful for that. I am so grateful for that, because adulthood don't be playing with nobody. As you can see, I lost everything, and adulthood don't give two fucks about what you can't pay for. Oh, you can't pay rent, you don't have nowhere to live. Like, okay. So now that we're there, I literally, in certain aspects, I was a mature adult. And then in certain aspects, I was still a child. Um, and what I thought motherhood should be was that I completely put my child first no matter what. Because I never felt like I was put emotionally first. So when it came down to emotional needs, like, and even financial, like, I would put my child first. I did watch, you know, sometimes my mom put us financially first before herself, and I think that's where it came from. Like, there were times where she would choose to, buy us stuff, but don't buy herself stuff. But there was also she also had drug and alcohol issues, so I would say her allowance went there. Like, I ain't even trying to be funny and bring up trauma, but I'm just it comes out. Like, if you want to rock with this channel, like, it's gonna come out, and I find healing in it. But yeah, so I've always been clear that childhood and learned behaviors and traits and all that shit was always confusing to me, because I was always confused as a child. Like, it was like, you love me, but you hate me. And it was like, you take care of me, but you don't. It's always was this duality. And I lived in that black and white lens. Everything was black and white to me. It was hard to find a middle ground, and now I look at the middle ground as it's this explosion once you hit it. Like, once you hit the middle ground, it's this explosion of colors, which I look at the colors as opportunities. So it's not just black and white anymore. You still have these extremes, right? You still have these extremes. And I think sometimes we get caught up on when people talk about finding peace and all that stuff. Like, I done went on a tangent from what I was talking about earlier. I hope I come back. Like, I hope. But stick with me. So it's like, I view it as things start out for all of us most of the time as black and white. However, I will say, for me as a child, I saw everything in fucking color, but it was beat out of me. It was mind fucked out of me. And it was taught to me to see this shit as black and white, because there is no other way but black and white. And so I will say, like, parents, please do not kill your child's imagination. Don't kill your child's thoughts, ideas, and views because of your limited beliefs and life experiences. Let them babies explore. Let them babies be whimsical. Let them babies have an imagination out of this fucking world, because we're not from this world. We're in it. We're in it, but we're not of it. Like, we're here. We're visitors. I'm a resident here, but this is not, I didn't just start here. Like, I didn't just start here. And that's how I feel. And I feel like when I came here as God intended me to be. But life has chipped away and chipped away and chipped away and chipped away at that. And it's now God remolding me to be exactly who God intended me to be. And so when I view the world now, I don't just view it as black and white. I view it as an explosion of colors, and those colors are options. So it doesn't mean just because you have this explosion of colors that white and black still doesn't exist. White and black still does exist. And we talk about, you hear things like use discernment. You hear things like find peace, find your middle ground. Sometimes your middle ground is extreme. Sometimes it will come a time where your middle ground is a white or black option, and you have to know when to use that. I will use an example. Like, if someone is trying to actively unalive me, my reaction is going to be extreme. I will not pick one of the pretty colors as an option. I'm going to have an extreme reaction. So I would pick one of these black and white choices. However, there are other times where you can pick from the pretty colors and you can choose what options and paths. I look at it like paths and journeys and timeline splits, and you can pick which one fits and works for you. And if you picking up what I'm putting down, then you're meant to be here. Like, you're meant to listen to this. You're meant to hear this. I'm happy I found you. So yeah, it's literally really, 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 really cool what happens when your world expands. And I've always had this in me. Excuse me, I suppressed it because number one, I never knew how to validate myself, because as a child, I looked to my parent as validation. And I didn't seek validation from nobody more than I sought it from my mother. And my mother is very logic brain, and I thank God for that too. Sometimes we look at some of these things that happen to us as just the complete negative, and both of my parents are left-brained operators. Very logical, practical, no creativity. I mean, creativity does come out of them, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to living life, it's very practical. It's very cut and dry. And with me, it's like I've always felt like it's other options. It's not just that. Oh, well, that is what happened for that situation and for that person. That's not what's going to happen for me, because I'm being told and led that this is the way for me. And I would always get told, no, that's not going to work, or this is going to happen. And then in some cases, sometimes things would not work out for me. However, it wasn't their place to, I guess, like, oh, I told you so. Like, but isn't this the whole purpose of me being in life, is to learn? And once again, I will say this: just because something happened to me in this situation, in this scenario, doesn't mean it's going to happen the same way for the next person. So we all have different paths. We all have different options. We all have different choices. We all have different thought patterns. We all have different perceptions. We all have different vantage points. Sometimes if we're standing at different vantage points, views are different. Like, so, I thank God that I have, excuse me, I thank God that I have been afforded, I need some water. I thank God that I have been afforded the opportunity to be myself again, be authentic in who I am. I smile when I say that. That like made my heart smile. I just had to smile. Be authentic. I don't have to hide myself anymore. Like, this is great. It's so much energy into hiding who you are. And I'm still learning. Like, I'm a baby at this. Like, I'm still learning. Well, I'll say last year I was a baby at this. Like, this year maybe I'm like a toddler. I'm like a toddler. I'm standing up. I'm walking. I'm walking. I'm not crawling. I'm not, doing dumb shit. I do dumb shit sometimes still. I'm not perfect. But I'm not doing, I'm not sticking everything in my mouth just to see how it tastes, smell, feel. Like, I am now tolerant. I can now, use a little bit more discernment. And, hopefully, next year I'll be, a big girl. I feel like I'm a big girl now, though. Like, maybe I'll be an adult. Who wants to be that? I kind of like the child, like, feeling. Like, just stay there. Just stay there. Like, be an adult when it comes about your business. And that's kind of how I got on this topic. We went on a tangent. But be an adult when it comes about your business. But when it comes about, like, just life and living, like, be your childlike self. Be your childlike self. Use discernment on how you need to show up. And I think that's authenticity. I think a lot of people think authenticity is showing up as yourself. Like I think as a consistent part of yourself. But I think authenticity is showing that there are so many different parts of you and so many different personalities. I feel like now, at first I used to be ashamed that I had so many different personalities and lived in here. Like, just, you didn't know which one you was gonna get. Now I know my personality. Like, we know each other. Like, hey nigga, like, what's up? Like, oh, you want to pop out today? Like, I'm here with you. Go have some fun, nigga. Oh, like, I feel like I used to be ashamed of that shit. Like, and this now is like, oh, shit. Some of you niggas ain't got no personality. And that's why y'all bland and boring. And we all just living on this planet trying to make me feel like I gotta dress like you. I gotta talk like you. I gotta think like you. I gotta feel like you. Like, no. I like the variety that lives inside of me. One day you might see a dressed up, classy looking lady, and the next day you're gonna see a real nigga in here. Like, you're gonna see a real nigga with tennis shoes and, a graphic t-shirt. You might start seeing a nigga with some grills. Like, you just never know what you're gonna get. And I know now what you're gonna get, because I have self-control and I have self-regulation. But I have fucking characters in here, and I love every last one of them. But some of y'all don't. Y'all don't, and I get it. I was there. Take your time, love yourself, show up as whatever the fuck you show up as, and just know that it is you. Give yourself grace. I'm still on this journey learning, so when I be sitting here doing these videos, just know that I have to take heed to every fucking word I say. I haven't even gotten to the point where I watch my videos periodically now. I reflect back on my videos and be like, what in the fuck? Like, Latifah, like, girl, oversharing much. But no, I was supposed to. I felt called to. I stand on that. However I showed up last year was authenticity. That was who the fuck I was. I had to apologize for the behavior that showed itself, and I would say mostly the delivery of the behavior. The behavior was raw and real. But the delivery of the behavior, I apologize. Okay, like, everybody that probably got, like, some parts of me, whether I was triggered or not, I apologize for my delivery. I do not apologize for what I meant, because I meant it. I meant that shit. But I do apologize for my delivery. And I say this because it's interesting, because one of my near and dear friends, and she was once my student, but we stay in contact. She had just brought up the topic of delivery and shit, so, like, I could relate. Like, shit, last year I said everything I fucking felt. But my delivery was wrong sometimes. Y'all can tell I don't give a fuck, right? It's my birthday. I can cry if I want to, laugh if I want to. I can be mean if I want to, but I don't want to be mean. I want to be nice. I want to be nice. Let me drink some water, for God take my place. You be like, all right, now you're cutting up a little too much. You cutting up a little too much, but I'm goofy as hell. Like, to know me is to know that. Like, I love to laugh. I love to have fun. I am serious as well. So it's like, I'm very serious. Definitely when it comes to, like, business matters, like, I am serious. I can be a bitch. I want things done, and I want them done the way that they should get done. I'm not like most people, though. You don't have to do things exactly my way. Long as the shit get done, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't have any, micromanaging problems where I just want to hover and make sure you did this shit like I said to do it. And no, I just want things to be done. And as long as they're done correctly and accurately, I am okay. I don't care how you got it done. Just don't break no laws or no rules. Like, But yeah, so, but I'm very serious at times, but like when it just comes to like me being me, um, look, I love to fucking laugh. I would laugh at the stupidest shit. It's funny because like I laugh at some of the stupidest shit. My daughter be like, "What? How many brain cells are we using today? Are we using one or two?" Like, I be looking at her like, "Look, look, you little bitch." I'm using three, nigga. I'm using three. Yeah, but yeah. So back to why I even got to this point. Literally, I say that a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna pause for a second and gather my thoughts. I'm learning that I could take time to gather thoughts. I always used to feel like I had to boom, 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 fire, 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 fire. I know the neurons in my brain are like happy. They're like, oh, we're making new pathways and neuron paths and, you know, all those little things. And it ain't got to fire so goddamn fast. You can go at a nice pace now. But I'm going to take a second right now and gather my thoughts. Bear with me. So, I was talking about praise and I was talking about my 3 degrees and what they mean to me and how they have less to do with other people and everything to do about what they actually meant to me. And for me, those 3 degrees mean that I could do any fucking thing in this world if I put my mind to it. Having a natural childbirth plan, breastfeeding, and actually having a healthy natural childbirth experience literally was very empowering for me. It made me feel good. And I say that to say, like, I never want a woman who wasn't able to have natural childbirth or had to have a C-section or whatever to feel less than. I will say, if you do feel triggered when people do stuff like praise themselves, it's literally something you gotta sit with. And that's something I learned all last year. Like, I was getting triggered like a motherfucker. Like, I was getting triggered like a motherfucker. I was triggering other fucking people. Like, I was getting triggered just as much as I was triggering other fucking people. And I had to learn, like, bitch, you're triggered because you got some shit you need to deal with. Why are you triggered by what the fuck somebody else has said or did? Like, you got some shit you gotta work on. And I still get triggered to this day. But when I'm triggered, I know that I need to sit with that shit and process it. It is not the other person's problem. That isn't my problem. That isn't my problem. That isn't my problem. And I think we need not to mistake triggers for abuse. When someone is blatantly fucking abusing you, you need to recognize that as blatant abuse also, because triggers can be blatant abuse. Like, however, you still need to sit with that trigger and process it and realize, like, I am being, and I did that with my eyes for a fucking reason. Like, I am being abused. I am being abused. I'm gonna stare intimately into this camera and say, I am being abused. If you know that you are constantly, repeatedly being triggered by this person, you've had conversations with yourself and this person is choosing violence every time, because violence don't always show up as someone putting their hands on you. Violence can show up as financial. They call it abuse, but I'm calling it fucking violence. Oh, but they call it, like, it can show, abuse can show up as financial, it can show up as sexual, it can show up physical, emotional, mental. It can show up in so many ways. And yes, when you're triggered, it is your responsibility to figure out why you're being triggered. It is your responsibility to have self-control. However, if you realize that a person is constantly triggering you and they're doing things that is actually very abusive and unhealthy, then I would say that you need to try to figure out what it is in you that makes you feel like you need to stay around this or constantly deal with this. There are situations where people have to be in abusive situations just to get to the next step. Those situations are very dangerous. I hold compassion for you. But there are resources and information out here where you can learn to get help and get out of that situation safely. And you also can learn coping skills and tools and information about how to see these abusive tactics while they're coming, before they come, and how to basically like not react to them for the purpose of your safety. Until you can get out of that situation. And then even once you get out of that situation, you do not want to react to that abuse. It takes too much energy, it costs too much time, but these things happen in processes and phases, and we need to start holding compassion for people who are in abusive situations. It is not easy as you might think, like, oh, you should just love yourself. Like, if people have been conditioned for years to not love themselves, it's going to take them time to love themselves. If people are used to abuse prior to that actual relationship, whether it is, you're living with your parents, or you're living with a romantic partner, or you're living with a family member, a friend who's abusive, if you learned abuse early on in